Right, no glasses on or anything. Fucking hell. What have I become?
Yeah, am I a bit shiny? No, I
Nope.
think I'm okay because my window is high enough.
Yeah. Whereas
If I
I'm
do
staring
that,
directly into my window. Oh yeah,
Okay.
right, okay. We are currently recording Thursday, 15th of January. This is going to come out on Friday. It's going to be a swift turnaround.
I thought that was in the pod then, and I was like, I love this new way of beginning.
Well, I think it might be. Right, yeah, it will be a swift turnaround. But we're in a second week of January. How are you feeling second week of January? Whole.
Well, to put it into perspective, we actually started this call that we used to record the podcast 43 minutes ago.
Yes, we did.
That is how much we've needed to, obviously if you're superior to us at work, talking strictly business.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, I think we've both really needed a little rant there. I think the second week of January has hit me like a ton of bricks. I just feel miserable, and I don't suit feeling miserable. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I think it's a combo. So I feel particularly miserable this morning because I was actually looking forward to going for my run today. It's a tempo run. I really felt like I had the zoomies and I wanted to get it out. And I've got a weird knee pain that isn't going away on its own, that I hoped would go away when I first started feeling it. And it's quite sudden. I guess I kind of noticed it a little bit on the last long run that I did. And then, I was kind of hoping last night I felt it a bit more painfully. And I thought, oh, surely if I just go to sleep, I'll wake up and it will be gone, which isn't what's happened. It is worse this morning and feels a bit more seasy. And I'm noticing it when I'm not noticing it when I'm like bending it or anything like that, which maybe that's good. Stairs, not an issue. Getting up and sitting down, not an issue. But walking around the house is,
I forgot, within the 43 minutes where we were talking before, have we spoken about heat? Have you used any heat on it?
No.
Use some heat on it. It's like fundamentally one of the best things you can do. Like, honestly, the physio.
Just put a hot water bottle on it.
Hot water bottle. Yeah. Muscles love heat, apparently. That's what my physio says. So do that and it will soothe it and you'll feel better. It won't cure it, but it will help.
Oh, that would be really nice.
Yeah, a little hot water bottle.
I'll do a little hot water bottle. But I think I'm feeling a bit miserable about the idea that I might have to have a rest day today. And I know, who am I? But like, I was looking forward to my run and I was looking forward to the feeling that I know I'll feel of accomplishment and ticking another one off the training plan. I've actually only missed one run so far and I'm on week 5, week 6. So I think this is the most committed I've ever been to a plan. And I feel really gutted. I know I don't have to miss it entirely. I can probably just shift it till tomorrow. But I'd psychologically planned my whole week and psyched myself up for this tempo session today, and even asked you to do the podcast at a specific time so that I'd have time to do it. And I'm wearing my compression socks as we speak under the table.
Goodness.
And I feel like I'd really geared myself up for it, and I know that I need it psychologically to make me not feel miserable today. And the idea of forgoing it is making me know that I'm going to feel sad today.
Yeah.
And I have spoken to a physio, I will confirm, not face to face, but I have I've sought help. I've put in a plea.
You put in a request. Yeah. Good. I think that's absolutely the best thing you can do. I feel like we have a lot of parallels at the moment. And
tell us about yours.
God. Well, sort of working backwards, I feel like the parallel is to not ignore, don't be a twat, and don't do the run is the thing that I want you to draw on from my experience. Because I was that twat and I did that run and I've completely fucked everything. So I think that, like, so mine is my back, and it started going so lower back, L5, L6, fact
Mm.
fans, disc girls, a couple of weeks ago, and um, so this has been a bit of a mind shift for me. I thought that this is my running, and these are my running injuries, and this is my back, and this is my back injury, and I thought those two were completely separate and nothing to do with each other. Um, and I'd had that, as I think I said in the last podcast, I'd had that kind of hamstring glute niggle for a couple of months. I didn't at all equate that with my back. And the physio was like, it's probably your back, and it's probably a precursor to your back going, which was a bit of a mind blown kind of moment for me, where I was like, oh. And but still, I didn't think that my running, and this is so naive, I still didn't think that my running would have any impact on my back. What I thought would have an impact on my back was picking things up, doing the washing machine, like sitting down on a chair, all those things, getting in and out of the car. I didn't think my running would have any impact, even though, stupidly, running has lots of impact and
famously
impact.
so.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I had it a couple of weeks ago. It was gradually getting better, but not better, not as fast as I would have hoped it to have gone. And I think it's because when I've done it before, when it's been really, really painful, it's been an incredibly acute situation where like the first time I ever did it, I had to lie on my back while I worked for 3 days. And it was absolutely agonizing. I was on codeine. I was, it was all very, very wrong. And it wasn't like that. And I think a lot of that is because of the stuff that I've learned subsequently about the things I need to do for myself. Like, I need to move. Like, as much as it's painful, I need to move. And also doing that kind of cobra exercise is a massive relief. So I need to do that because my disc is bulging out the back.
Yeah.
So doing that movement pushes it back in, So anyway, I'd been doing that. But I think quite crucially, in the week before I fucked it again, I went to the gym and ran on a treadmill, once with you and then once on my own. And obviously that's softer.
Yeah.
It was much less impact. I felt no ill effect from that. I guess the ill effect that I was feeling was that my back kind of niggle, ache, injury kind of thing kept on continuing. It just wasn't kind of spiking. I could just feel it. Like when I woke up in the morning, I still had to get out of a car like an old lady, like both legs, like as if I'm on a,
Yeah.
I still have to brace myself before getting up off a chair. But I was sitting down and I was, it was all okay. It just wasn't moving as positively forward as I would have wanted it to. And then on Sunday, I made the really stupid decision to do my long run, which was 9 miles. And before then, I'd been to the physio on Thursday, and she had been. I haven't even spoken about this, have I? She was lovely, and
I don't think you have.
no,
I
I
can't
haven't.
remember because
I
you
think we
told
recorded
me, but
before
I
then.
don't think we talked about it on the pod. No.
So I went to see her on Thursday. I'd booked in to the physio for my glute and hamstring stuff, but my back had gone in the interim. So I went and spoke to her about my back. She was absolutely lovely. And she happens to be a physio that I first saw 20 years ago when I was training for, I think, my second or third half marathon. And she sort of patched me up at that point. Anyway, she's lovely. And she gave me a really painful kind of sports massage up my spine and along the side of my hip and down, like with her knuckles, one of those. And I was like,
Nice.
fucking hell. So she would ask me lots of really nice kind of, chat questions. And I was like going, yeah, my kids are 13 and 11, that kind of like,
Yeah.
So it was really, really painful. And immediately, like these things always are, immediately relieving. I remember getting up from the table and just going, oh,
It's gone.
I can't feel a thing. It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
But she said, look, this is just temporary. It's just temporary. You will get this back in a day or two. She was right. 2 days later, I could feel it again. But I went
She's so clever.
She's so clever.
Yeah.
But I went straight from her to the gym and did a 35-minute run on the treadmill. Fine. Following day, I went to the gym, did a strength thing. Fine. Then I did a boot camp thing on Saturday. Fine. Then I did the 9-mile run. Not fine.
Mm.
So, and I saw you on the canal path, didn't I? A couple of times.
Yeah. As
We were
we
just
were
like churning.
pounding that bloody canal path.
That poor old canal path, which is probably about
Yeah.
a foot lower than it used to be before we were
Yes.
churning up and down it. Um, but I think the first time I saw you, I was only a few miles in, or maybe even just a mile in, and I was fine.
Mhm.
But by the time I saw you the second time, and I'd done at that point about 6 miles, I remember saying to you, "My back." And I could just feel it. I could just feel it. And it made me I thought, "Oh, as soon as I start walking, it'll be all right." And it kind of wasn't. And then I had to get home. I had to take Ted into town to get some new shoes. So I had to drive, which was agonizing. And I drove into town. We walked around town. We did some bits. I drove back. And by the time I
Mm.
got back, I was really desperately trying not to cry because Dave was
Oh.
very, I told you so. Why did you go for that run? That was really silly. And at that point, I was just saying, actually, driving was really dangerous because I couldn't lift my leg quickly from one pedal to the other. So if I'd have had to brake suddenly, we would have been in real trouble.
Yeah.
So that was another thing that I came back and I had a bit of a panic about what could have been.
Yeah.
It was fine, I was going to Waitrose and back, it was all right, but it was just, yeah, I could feel that it wasn't safe. And then over the course of that afternoon, I just seized. I had to lie on my back. It was horrible. It was worse than when it first happened 2 weeks before. It felt dreadful and I was in such pain. And I went to bed that night and I had the really kind of awful non-sleepy night. I know anyone with lower back,
Mm.
well, any kind of back issues will know what I mean. It's like trying to turn over in bed. It makes me reminisce about being pregnant and trying to turn over in bed, where every time you turned from your right to your left, it was this monumental effort, and obviously you had to work at it. And it's like when you have to do like an 8-point turn. That's the
Yeah.
movement that you're making. You're going shifting forward and backward, forward and backward, just to get over.
Oh, I actually not at all the same, because this is A, self-inflicted, and B, goes away quickly. But I have had that once or twice when I've had awful, awful DOMs. But it's particularly when it's like core or like all that
It's the
area
core, yeah,
that it's
yeah,
so painful that, yeah, you're having to sort of do that horrible shift. So I know what you mean, but imagine that is
yeah.
10 times worse when it's
It's
back
awful because
pain.
it's what I think of physio, it's what healthcare professionals talk about, a pinch. So,
Mhm.
like, there's the dull ache that's kind of there, and I can feel it now, sort of thing. But the pinch is when you can sort of feel it in your teeth. It's the nerve just going dying, and
Yeah.
it's so incredibly painful. And it happens when you're moving over in bed. But the other thing that's absolutely horrific is going to the loo. And it's to do with that. I mean, I can talk about going to the loo. It's our podcast. Sorry about this, girls.
Well, whatever the hell we want.
Thank you. But it's getting up in the morning and sitting on a seat, which means that your hips are lower than your knees. And so obviously going for a wee
Yes.
first thing, and you dip, don't you, into the hole of the loo seat rather
Yeah,
than
you need
sitting
a
on a
booster seat maybe.
used to see. But I'm fine now. But on that first day, that was the bit where I'd get the pinch.
Yeah.
And it was agonizing, or that the horror of feeling a sneeze brewing, or, those sorts of things where that you'd have that horrible feeling in your back. Anyway, so that was my Sunday afternoon and my Monday. And I had all those physical things, but also mentally, I absolutely fucking hated myself. I was like, why have I done this? Why have
Yeah.
I done this? For the sake of like a week off running, I could have been
Mhm.
okay. But because I didn't, because I persisted, I fucked it.
Oh, it's so hard though, because like I really feel like when running becomes a lifeline,
Mm.
it's so hard to know when to not and when to push through. 'cause I'm having exactly the same thing, and I've had, again, parallels this week. Same thing with, we were talking about before we started recording that, like, I did a sorry, I promise I will circle back. I'm not just completely hijacking this
No, no,
conversation.
no.
That I did a 12-miler. That was what I saw you on a couple of times, because
Mm.
similar distance, similar stretch of canal path. We were just plodding along, sort of passing each other every so often. And, that was fine, but I felt in the last 3 miles that I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm tired," and, like, I felt a little bit starting to have some of the classics come back into fashion again. A good old bit of hip flexor pain, a
Yeah,
little bit of ankle pain, all in my right side for some reason. Um, and, yeah, I think that from what we've been talking about just now, that what I can really put down to what has then been a shite week where all those injuries have got worse and felt worse.
yeah.
I've done one run since that was a 4-miler on Tuesday, and that was absolutely hideous. It felt awful. It felt like I've been actually really looking forward to it. And then because it was a bit of a drop down in my easy runs, but every step felt like I just was exhausted.
Yeah.
Um, and I've been ravenous, but then flitting between this feeling of like, oh, I shouldn't be like overdoing it because it's January and because like I need to be eating healthily, but then doing that classic thing of denying myself a mid-afternoon banana because I'm going, no, I'm being so good. I'm really watching what I'm eating. And then evening time going, well, obviously now I need to consume my weight in dairy milk because I'm starving at this point and nothing will do apart from
Yeah.
like the quickest wins for my
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
And I think this whole cycle that's put me in a weird place this week where I'm like, oh, don't feel I feel out of whack with with my hunger, with my tiredness, with my running, with pain, with mood, all of this stuff that normally I feel like when I'm in a good routine, I'm pretty good at just kind of like not really having to think about very much.
Mhm.
I think I can put down to the fact that I massively underfueled my 12-mile run. I didn't eat enough breakfast, had my normal brec, went
Mm.
out, did have 2 gels on the run, to be fair.
Mm.
Um, but um, after that, I just had a quick sandwich and cracked on with the rest of my day because I had so much to do in terms of like housework and thinking about the week ahead and stuff. So, and then I had a normal dinner, like no more
Yeah.
sort of carb or no more really thinking about anything. Um, and I was just saying to you that I think any extra calories or extra like fuel that I was sort of thinking about, I put into inevitably being quite hungry and feeling like I really deserve a treat. So then just eating chocolate or whatever and not actually really thinking what my body is clearly needing is like bread,
Yeah.
pasta,
Yeah.
more of chicken, even like protein as well. Like I just needed more food, more.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I have had exactly the same thing this week where not only am I feeling a bit miserable because I don't think I'm going to be able to run today, I don't feel very like in control, I guess, with like how I'm feeling and my mood and my energy levels. And I feel like it's kind of spiraled a little bit out of control. And I'm like, who is this person who's tired and grumpy and crying all the time and ravenous constantly?
Mm.
It might just be because it's the second week of January and I'm on my metaphorical period or something, but I
Yeah.
really, really think that it's because I didn't feel properly and I've got a hangover from being in a stupidly low kind of calorie deficit or whatever for that day because I just didn't think about refueling properly and I didn't listen to my body.
Yeah.
And yeah, so similarly, hate myself. Moral of the story, hate
Brilliant.
ourselves.
Brilliant. I think that does happen. I think that happens a lot. I think it takes us longer to recover from those long runs
Yeah.
than we think. It's particularly if we've had long runs quite recently where we've skipped about the following day and felt absolutely amazing, that it kind of lulls you and makes you just think, "Well,
Yeah, you
ah,
think I can just bounce back and meal prep a chili, hoover
yeah,
my sitting room, and not have what I used to have where I would be like, I need to sit in the bath for an hour after
yeah,
doing that level
yeah,
of running. And like it is, I think, an indicator of a bit more of a higher level of fitness if you're not needing to do that so much. But I think it's often also at the detriment of missing that behind the scenes, like, you are still feeling an impact. It's not like nothing happens because you did that run.
No, God, no. I mean, you
Yeah.
did, a mile shy of a half marathon, and, a little bit of extra rice and a great big sleep is kind of what was needed, at that point,
Yeah.
I think. And yeah, I think we were talking about this before, weren't we? That kind of that hangover that we get from the weekend is now something that we should kind of expect. We should maybe plan for that actually an easy run on the Tuesday might feel a bit shit, and we have to kind of live with that and just think, well, it feels shit, but only because
I did that big thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, not because inherently running is hard or because you're less fit or because of this, that, and the other,
No.
but just because recovery isn't quite hitting the mark. And sometimes this is where things like fitness watches can really help. So my fitness watch at the moment, I have not looked at Cooper this week at all,
No.
but
I think
um
you have to sometimes not, and actually I used that Cooper 24/7 coaching thing.
yeah,
This was during my 10K training when I was ill and I knew I couldn't really do the run.
yeah,
And I messaged them and was like, "Oh, can I pause it?" or whatever. And they were like, "You can't pause it, but just don't look for a bit and like just chill.
yeah.
Just stop worrying about your streak for a bit." And it was really useful to hear.
Yeah, that's what I've done, and also, well, Garmin's been quite useful because Garmin's like saying to me, not rested, HRV, whatever, everything's low apart from
Mhm.
stress, which is high, and that gives me kind of it sort of makes me accept, okay, it's not just a part of my body falling over, it's all of me is saying, please, please, just sit still for a bit,
Yeah.
um, which I completely understand. But I tell you one thing that I've been thinking about this week, along with being incredibly sorry for myself, is I went back to the physio yesterday.
Okay.
Um,
Did
I
she
went to s
reassure?
No.
Was she like
Um,
silly, silly?
a bit. Well,
Yeah.
no. She's a lovely woman, and she wouldn't do that, but what she said was, "When did your back start hurting?" And I said, "Well, it was maybe about 3 or 4 miles in." And she said, "Well, now we know the breaking point." So she was
Okay.
yeah, so she said that, but she said, she gave me another knuckle massage. I don't think that's a technical term.
Mm.
Um, uh, and she said after that, best thing to do is 2 weeks of no running. Um, and I said, "How long is it gonna take to recover from?" And she said 6 to 8 weeks, like any injury. So,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
of course, that completely fucks up my marathon training plan, like, completely fucks it.
Yeah.
Um, and even then, even were I to like, she was like, I was like, when can I start running again? And she was like, well, as I say, no running for 2 weeks, then we'll see how it is. And that might be a very gentle return. It might be on a treadmill, it might be a mile. So we're thinking in 2 weeks' time, I might start doing like couch to 5K, basically. So I'm having to go right back to minus wherever I was and build up from there in 2 weeks, so that in 6 to 8 weeks, I'm going to be at the beginning of marathon training. I think it gives me, if I'm talking 6 weeks, I think it'll give me 10 weeks until the marathon.
Okay. I'm not a coach, and we are having some coaches on soon. So this
We
could be a good opportunity to talk about it. But if I were putting my Jordan hat on,
mm,
she had a very similar, and I know she is like basically a professional marathon runner,
yeah.
but she had a very similar experience and was gutted this time. It would have
Yes.
been around the same time,
Yes, I
this time
remember it.
last year.
Yeah, yeah.
And she, I think, benefited more from listening to, and it's so easy to say, isn't it? Because if it were me,
Yeah,
I would be also crushed. And I'm feeling a bit of that anyway before even really fully knowing what's going on with my knee. But
yeah,
I think she followed the advice, did genuinely take a bit of time off, and came back and ran a really good marathon when she was not expecting to
yeah.
even be able to do the race. So I don't think you need to go, I've got to kiss my dreams goodbye.
No, but I
But I
do
do
think I need to
understand.
be pragmatic about it.
Mhm.
And I thought it was very interesting. We talk about this quite a lot, and possibly not on the podcast, but we certainly talk about this a lot in the magazine, which is the phrase, listen to your body. Now, I genuinely don't,
No,
ever.
I
So
don't think that you do, and I love you with all my heart,
yeah.
but I don't think either of us are necessarily great at doing that on this pod.
No, I don't think we are. I don't
No.
think we are. Um, like, you're talking about this knee thing with you and saying, "Should I go for this run?" Your knee is saying, "No, don't."
Yeah.
But that's your body saying,
But there's a
"Please don't do
little
this
part
to
of your
me."
brain that thinks you can win, you can
Yes,
beat your
you can
body,
beat
and you
it.
can
You can
go,
beat it.
"Yeah, no, I think maybe wrong, I can."
Exactly,
Yeah.
which is also your body, right? Your brain is also your body. So so there's a lot of that where I'm not really listening to it. I mean, I'm not going to run in the next 2 weeks, and I'm going to do what she tells me to do. I am gonna go to the gym every single day and do cross training or stair climbing or whatever. So I'm gonna try and keep as much as possible. That's the worry, is I'm gonna try really hard to keep my cardio up or not let it dip down too much. So I want to do that as much as I can, and obviously while keeping up my strength training. But I think one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about on this was
Mhm.
preparing for a plan B.
Yeah, okay.
And
I
I think
think
both of
you
us actually could potentially talk
should.
about preparing for a plan B
Okay.
and making sure that the plan B is as exciting in your head as a plan A, otherwise it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
Because plan B of like sitting around in your pants and not doing anything isn't going to cut it. But a plan B
No.
of a different race, running the same race differently is the bit that wobbles me. That's the bit that I don't like, because when I looked up, because there are plenty of 10-week marathon training plans, right? We've even got one in the magazine this month. So people can do it. And in fact, actually, as I was saying to Dave yesterday, the first and most comfortable in real life marathon that I did was on the back of a very short training block. And it's because like London Marathon running in October was um they'd only just launched it very quickly, or I only knew that I had a place in it sort of very, very kind of soon to the race
Yeah.
day. So I think I had about 10 to 12 weeks for that. And it was fine. It was fine because obviously your mileage never you're not running huge amounts of mileage for a very, very long period of time. Doing it over
That's
12
the
weeks,
thing.
there is something to commend
There
about
is
that.
something to be said for that. Like, I think
Mm,
that we've talked about that on the pod, that like maybe one of the things that caused both of us to not have a brilliant race day in the end on when we did London Marathon last year
yeah.
was potentially because of just training for a week or two too long. That
Yeah, it was
like
very
you
long, wasn't it?
Yeah, and your body
Yeah.
is maintaining I guess I often think about long run as just like that's the marker of like how my training's increasing. But
Yeah.
that's not the only thing. Like when you look at your weekly mileages, to sustain those weekly mileages for that amount of time
Yeah.
is nuts. Like similarly at the moment, and it might not sound like loads to everybody, but I
Mm,
think the reason that I've been struggling a little bit with my body slightly falling apart is that I'm trying to average a sort of 25-mile week at the moment, but I've only got like 3 runs to do it in.
that's a
So
lot. Yeah.
it is a lot. Maybe I need to actually be doing an extra run a week is the issue, and just do them all slightly shorter. But
Yeah.
um I think, yes, I agree. Let's think about a plan B, but my heart is breaking a little bit for you
Mm,
and also potentially for me. We'll see what the physio says.
yeah.
And I think a plan B needs to involve not just something else that's a bit further down the line that we can get excited about, but
Mm,
hot take on this podcast, something that isn't running that can maybe light our fire and make us excited about fitness. Because if you're going to have to take 2 weeks, for example, maybe that is 2 weeks to completely rest. But like, are there other things that we can do when we can't run? Because I am mentally reliant currently on running to
mm,
make me feel, and that might be a bit toxic, but I do feel that I'm in a place where like it helps me unravel all of the stresses that I build up throughout the week. I feel like my head has just sort of been cleared. And I part of the reason that I'm feeling a bit miserable about potentially not running for a bit, and I know you have the same,
mm.
is mentally the impact that might have. Like, are you gonna do anything else? Is there any other cardio or even
I
not, like strength? Is there, like, anything that you're
yeah.
finding is lighting your fire?
No, nothing is as good as running, right? But
Mm.
things do come close, and I love that gym, and I'm gonna be going there as often as humanly as I possibly can, because
As you humanly can.
yeah, as I humanly can. Um, and she was like saying, my physio was saying, you know, I have to actually listen to my body. And she was like, you know, try the cross trainer, see if that kind of, you know, you have to make sure you don't twist your body when you're doing it. That stair climber thing, which I really like, to try it, but see, because obviously you're raising your legs up. But both of those things, I did them this morning. Both of those things were absolutely fine.
Okay.
Um, so I'm trying my best to think, like, I remember being injured 20 years ago when I was training for a half marathon, when I probably saw her then the last time,
Yeah.
and was absolutely devoed
Yeah.
because there was nothing else. I had nothing else to fall back on. So the only thing that was keeping me, I wouldn't have the words for it. I wouldn't say these things at the time, but the only thing that felt like it was keeping me sane was the run.
Yeah.
And when the run was taken away, I had nothing to replace it with because I was too poor to have a gym membership, and I couldn't consider any other sort of, I'm not a team sport person. I couldn't think of anything else I could do. So I went from running to not running,
Yeah.
and that was it.
Yeah, it's the fitness and it's like, you know, that that's sporty thing that we're getting out of it, but actually
Mm.
also I think there's something to be said for the fact that it's like it's your main hobby. Like it's the thing that you're most passionate about as well. It's the thing
Yeah,
that's
it's what
driving you.
defines you. It kind of,
Yeah.
you know, people, you know, it's up there with my name. Like, what do I do? Who am I if I don't do this thing?
Yeah.
So it's really, and I'm talking about a stretch of maybe 2 weeks, but it might be 6 or 8. But yeah, it's really, really, really hard to get my head around.
Mhm.
And when you go down a Google rabbit hole for this sort of injury and start sort of looking at kind of building back up and what do I do? And do I do that marathon? And obviously there's articles saying yes and there's articles saying no. But, you know, lots of people are saying, well, you could walk, run it. And I'm saying, no, fuck that. That's what I did last time. I don't
I
want
think
to
that
walk.
is a thing. That could be like genuinely a great plan B for somebody and like is not to be sniffed at as a potential. But
No, of
I
course not.
completely agree for you that you need another plan B than that because
Yeah.
that's your goal is to try to have a better day and to not feel like you're
Yeah, my
in
goal was to
a
run the whole way round.
yeah,
So I don't want to have a plan B that is not to run the whole way round, because then I don't have a plan. It feels like it's not a plan. It feels, that does not feel good for me. Um, so I'm gonna have to. I still have the plan of running all the way round. I
mhm,
have that. That's still there. I don't know how to adjust it. I do know that there are other things later on in the year that I'm very, very, very interested in doing.
yeah,
And that if I am unable to run the London Marathon, then I am happy to shift
that goal,
that goal to a later date because I've got other things that I would be quite interested in doing. So I think that's okay.
yeah,
But
that is,
I think missing out on, and obviously I'm going to be completely devastated if, like, say 4 weeks time, I'm still unable to do more than a couple of miles on a treadmill. But yeah, because it's that definition of me. It's what do I do instead, and it's the kind of the
mhm,
ease of access of running, right?
I
That's one of
know.
those things. So I drive to our gym, and like this morning, I drove just around school drop off time, which is the worst time to do it, and that takes me about 20 minutes to get there. And then I do my session, and then it's maybe a 10-minute drive back, but that's half an hour. I mean, I could run in that, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like we're not filling the world with joy, which is what we aim to do with this podcast. But I think also
yeah.
it's really important to talk about because a lot of people that we have messages all the time from people who listen despite the fact that they're injured, or who actually go, I can't listen at the moment, it's depressing me because I'm injured.
Yeah.
And I think sending so much love to you, Esther Newman, but
Thanks.
also to all those people listening who might feel in this place at the moment, because it is just like, it gives us so much, and I'm so grateful for how much it's given, but
Yeah.
having it taken away is so horrible.
So horrible.
Yeah.
I tell you what though, slightly on the bright side, I did have a lovely bit of kit stuff happen on that long run, which
Oh,
I think is worth. I did it on my Instagram and I thought, no, I'm going to say it here as well. And it's because of, we were talking about Raynaud's and cold hands and blah, blah, blah. And I had a bit of an epiphany. So a couple of lovely people, I feel like I need to mention this actually, a couple of lovely people had messaged me either on Instagram or um, on WhatsApp about some solutions for running gloves. So I'm still running basically because gloves get so irritating, don't they? I was still
yeah.
running in these kind of thin Ron Hill ones, which I'd picked up for like £6 a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
Um, and still wearing those because as much as they were quite thin, they weren't mega irritating by like mile 4 or 5. And I could either
Yeah.
keep them on for the whole run, or I could, because they're so small, I could just fold them up and tuck them up my sleeve sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I was still running in. And inevitably, they're not cutting the mustard when you've got quite significant Raynaud's, which I have. I've got my left hand particularly. I'm going to the doctors about this actually next week,
Are
so I will
you?
report back. Yeah, because my left hand is different from my right, and apparently that's not a good indication. You need to go and get that sorted if your body is
Okay.
reacting differently one side to the next. But I have significant chilblains on one side of my hands, and I got that swollen knuckle thing where I can't get my rings off again.
Oh,
Um,
no.
just on one side. Um, anyway. I'd complained about this before, and someone very lovely. Oh God, I'm going to forget everyone's names. I think Alice on WhatsApp
Mhm.
came through and said, "Have you looked at these mittens?" And there was a pair of mittens. I'm going to get these all wrong. I'm going to have a quickly look on my Instagram. There's a pair of mittens from Innovate that are sort of fleece lined. And I think, and because they're mittens, you see, so which
Yeah.
really helps. It's having the fingers together. Um, so if I go to, it will show, won't it? If I do, oh no, it won't. How do I get to? Oh no, I can't see. How do you get to your stories when they've gone? There
Oh,
must be a way.
there's like, if you sort of go, there is a way, but can I remember the
Can I
way?
find the thing? Messages and story replies. Ooh, story replies. No,
There is
no
a way. It's on your
settings.
archive, but I cannot remember how
Ooh,
to access that. Should I have a quick look? Sorry if it starts playing things out loud. Oh, okay. If
sorry.
you hit the 3 lines, sorry everyone,
Yes,
interesting
3 lines,
content.
3
3 lines
lines,
and then go archive.
archive. Ah,
Then you can
amazing.
see it.
There we are. So, um, right, yeah, Sarah emailed and she said she recommended another thing by Ron Hill, actually. They're called Winter Mitts. They're £36, fleece lined. They look really, really good. Okay, so she
Mhm.
recommended those. So go and have a look at those. If you are cold-handed like me. And weirdly, the other recommendation was very, very similar, but Innovate, and it's called a thermal mitt. It looks a little bit thicker, I'd say. But again, I think it was only £30, and that was from Alice. So those were both good. So Innovate and Ron Hill, very, very good for mittens kind of thing. But I didn't wear either of those things. I was still wearing my thin Ron Hill running gloves. But I'd forgotten that I'd been given this pair of weird gloves from Compress Sport.
Oh,
Don't know if
yeah.
I'm they'd given me 2 gloves, and one was supposed to be inside and one was supposed to be outside.
Oh,
And I'd worn the inside gloves because they were really compressive, and I thought, "Oh, that'll work."
like your black plastic glove theory.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it didn't work. It didn't work. Um, they were sort of slightly too compressive for me. I found them very restrictive, and my fingers got very, very cold. But
Okay.
I didn't double up with the mittens over the top. So this time I ran, when I saw you, I was running with Ron Hill gloves, but with these compress sport mittens over the top, which are made of like anorak material. Um,
Oh.
I know it's weird. It's like putting like a bin bag over your hands. Um, I can't remember what they're
And are they
called now.
mittens?
They're yes, they're mittens.
Mm.
They are super thin, super thin. I think they're not massively expensive either, like 30 quid or something. And you wear oh no, they weren't. They were £45. Sorry, £45. But I wore it over the top of these and I think it probably helped that it wasn't 0 degrees. I looked back at the weather and it was 6 degrees on Sunday, not 0 degrees.
Yeah, it didn't
But I
actually feel too bad on Sunday.
but I wore them
Mm.
over the top, and honest to God, my hands got too hot. I
Big for
mean,
you.
what is that even? Who am I? It was
Well, that's
amazing.
great. That's brilliant because when we had our Reynolds chat,
Yeah.
the moral of the story just seems to be try not to get them too cold, which is
Yes.
very hard in this at this time of year. So if you've found a potential answer, double bagging.
Double bagging, and I think it's
Mhm.
because obviously the Ron Hill ones are breathable, so that's why my hands are still getting cold while I'm
Yeah.
wearing them. And these kind of weird mittens, the compressed sport ones that go over the top, they're completely impermeable. So they are, and I think they are
So
supposed to
you're
be for like
sort of
people doing spine race kind of thing. So they are.
yeah.
So you've
I
got
guess
no
your
wind going through.
hands are in their own sort of like Dutch oven.
It's really weird. It's really
Yeah.
weird. It's
Where
like a
any
like
heat that they are giving off, they're then sort of circulating in
circulating.
afterwards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like a
So
fart
I
bag over the top
like
of your
indeed, exactly like that. That's precisely what I was going to say. But it actually it felt like it was just so weird. I had to take them off. Like in the last what 6 weeks since it's been kind of colder and then getting really really cold, I haven't taken I wear my gloves when I'm in the gym. Like I'm so
do
cold,
you? Yeah.
so cold.
I mean, your gym is a bit cold, I
It's
will say.
freezing. It's freezing gym. Freezing
Yeah, it is
gym.
a cold
Yeah.
gym.
But I'm there. I was on the Stairmaster today. Stairmaster. Is it actually called that? Sounds like Thigh Master,
I
doesn't it?
I
Mm.
like it, and I know
Stairmaster.
exactly what you mean.
A stair mill, I believe it is. I was next to a woman who was wearing short shorts and a crop top. And I was in what you can see now. So I was wearing a long sleeved zip up jacket, my top underneath, bra, long leggings, socks over the top, and gloves. Right next to her. So I
Oh.
just look as though, I mean, as Dave has said to me quite often, if it was the olden days, I would have died ages ago.
Oh, I do sometimes think that, not about
Mm.
you, but about about things we suffer from that I think, "God, what would have happened then?"
I would have I don't know if I would have made it past 12.
You would have
I'm
perished in the orphanage.
I up a chimney at some point, there would have just been me just going, "I'm too cold and asthmatic," and that would have been the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the black lung would have got you for
Oh my
sure.
god, yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah, fuck.
dear.
Hurrah for modern medicine.
I would have
Um
just opted out. I would have been like, "Don't like this. I don't like this at all. I don't like that you can't just nip to the shops and get a treat drink whenever you like."
No, olden days are rubbish,
Yeah,
right?
olden days are
Yeah,
rubbish.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually interested complete 180 here.
Do.
Interesting audiobook recommend. I've
Oh,
completely been out of whack with audiobooks and podcasts recently
mhm.
because I've been running at what I am trying to make a bit of a faster pace.
Yeah.
Music has been the only thing that really helps me kind of go for it. And actually, it
Mhm.
helps me be alone with my own thoughts more because you know how your mind can kind of wander a bit when you're running.
Yeah.
I was finding it obviously you're trying to tune back in when you notice that happen if you're listening to a story being told.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas if you are listen to music, obviously you can sort of allow your mind to freely roam. And
Mhm.
I've been enjoying that recently. But I have started an audiobook because I thought lots of long miles, not wanting to actually run them too fast.
Mhm.
And it's called They All Love Jack. Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't.
It's so interesting about the
Yeah.
Victorian times,
Oh, yeah.
about none other than the infamous Jack the Ripper.
No way.
But it's
Yeah.
really interesting, sort of like commentary on the times, on basically, I won't sort of, I mean, I can't give anything away because I'm only a couple of chapters in,
Mm.
but it's gripping so
Yeah.
informative, and kind of the author is trying to debunk this whole like mysticism around Jack the Ripper and being
Yeah.
like, this guy could easily have been any old bloke. Like the context of colonialism and violence and classism and
Mm.
hatred for your fellow man if they were different, or in this case, women, um,
Women. Yeah.
is absolutely not within the realms of possibility to think that that could be a completely sane psychopath, but
Yeah.
like person who it could be of nobility or of relative kind of wealth and status. And it's so interesting. I think he's going to drop a bomb about who he thinks that Jack the Ripper was, but he
Yeah.
keeps kind of teasing it a bit and like introducing sort of interesting army generals and you're
Oh,
like, is
yeah.
it him? Does he think it's him? And it's so interesting. I'm loving it. I'm
That sounds
loving
like
it.
a really long, good podcast.
Yeah, that's kind of how it feels. It feels like a really long, good podcast. It had a great, impactful beginning, and now I'm in the first bit, which is kind of exploring the colonial backdrop of Victorian England, and kind of also
Yeah.
a little bit how evil Queen Victoria could be.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, I
interesting.
know. Loving
Oh,
it.
that's
Loving
good.
it. So if people
That's
want
good.
something to sink their teeth into, marathon training, it's like 30 hours, so strap in. That'll be what,
I
for
love that.
me, 3 weeks of running at the moment or something.
Oh
God.
god, oh god. I have to tell you what I've been listening to. I had to say that yesterday I had to send a recommendation to Dave because I'm working standing up at the moment. I'm recording this sitting down, but
Yes.
I'm working standing up, and actually it's been really good. I took a day to get used to it, but now I love it.
Mhm.
Um, and um, and I was doing something yesterday which meant that I could listen to something at the same time, and I listened to Desert Island Discs from a
Yeah.
long time ago, and I listened to Danny Dyer on Desert Island Discs.
Oh,
Oh my god, he's so lovely. He's
so
like
funny.
he's so funny. He's so him and Stephen Graham, I feel like I could be mates with those two people.
Yeah,
He
they
is just
give hard as fuck, and actually they are soft and lovely.
soft, and he's been with his missus since they were 13.
That's so precious. Stephen
So
Graham
lovely.
or Danny Dyer?
No. Oh, I think Stephen Graham has actually been with his partner
I
for
was about
almost
to
as long.
say, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
and
that
it's a very
Stephen
similar
Graham's also
story.
been with his missus since they were
Yeah.
like teenagers.
But it
Yeah.
was so good, and there's a bit in it where he's talking about, like, obviously she mentions about the "Who do you think you are" episode where he found out that he was related to Cromwell, right?
Yeah.
And, where you just go, and he said, and so Lauren Laverne brings it out and goes, "Oh, the incredible scenes," sort of thing, and he says, "Yeah, yeah, I was on quite a lot of, what was he on at the time? He was on some sort
He
of
was on crack, okay,
uh,
sorry, maybe not during that, but he does talk about the fact that I think he did have a crack
He's
cocaine
been
problem.
he's been on lots of things, but at that point, I
Mhm.
think he was on some sort of painkillery type thing. So he was on something like temazepam or something like that. And he said, "I was on quite a lot of that at the time, so I could have reacted more," he said during the episode, which
Bit
I thought was
muted.
hilarious. Yeah, a little bit.
Amazing.
Um, but
Yeah,
anyway,
I
he's
listened to
better now.
him on, I can't remember what it was. It was like maybe Louis Theroux or one of those,
Yeah,
and I was fascinated by him because, yeah, he not throwing him under the bus for the crack thing. I think he very
mm,
openly was talking about the fact that he would have nights where, like, he would be up until 10 AM having been, like, on a drug binge and then be,
yeah,
like, in a Pinter play in the afternoon and
yeah,
like having to kind of manage the duality of that.
yeah,
Um,
all of that. And then he was
Such an
talking about
interesting guy.
getting the EastEnders gig at a point in which they were so impoverished. He was about to sign on. And then
Yeah.
suddenly this comes along and it's kind of this life-changing, it's like, "Oh,
I
Danny."
love him.
Anyway, but
Honestly,
that's what I
maybe
listen
one
to.
day we can have a podcast where we can interview I mean, we do interview very interesting
We
people, but
do,
they have to have something to do with running. I'm not
indeed.
sure we could get Danny Dyer on. He's missing a few qualifications that are key for this podcast.
A little. It's a shame,
Yeah,
isn't it? But, oh
yeah.
my god. Also, I would just be sitting there in silence just saying, "Just talk, Danny. Just hold forth. It's fine. I wouldn't have the questions, I think, to
Yeah, me too. I'd be like, this is the monologue podcast. You are allowed
yeah.
to just talk and we'll just be guests. That was actually how I felt when we interviewed Catherine Switzer.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
I felt like I
Oh.
was listening to our podcast, which I suddenly realized at the end was a bit dangerous and that I needed to start like thinking about things I might want to say or ask her. But I was
Yeah.
so like lost in the world of her storytelling that I felt like I was listening to a podcast for an hour.
Oh, but she's so good at that, isn't she, I think?
Yeah.
She's so good at telling stories. She's such a raconteur, and it does not age-wise, but she reminds me very similarly of going to see Michael Caine talk because he had a memoir out. It was about 10 years ago, and they'd hired some very expensive interviewer from Radio 4 to ask him a question, and he literally at the beginning of the 1.5 hours with Michael Caine said, "So, Michael, tell us about the 60s." And that was it.
And that
And
was
he just
it.
and by the end of it, he was talking about evading tax and all sorts, right to but it was just incredible, absolutely amazing. He just held forth for an hour and a half. Didn't need anyone there. But
I
then,
love Michael Caine.
I love Michael
I love
Caine,
Michael
even though he does
Caine.
evade tax.
Doug was we watched Muppets Christmas Carol at Christmas. Can't remember whether
Of
I said
course.
about this. And Doug was at this point quite drunk on Christmas Day,
Mm,
kind of holding us all hostage to watch it. I will always watch it without a gun to my head. I'm
of course.
happy to watch it willingly.
Yeah.
But we kind of were forcing his family to watch it, and Doug particularly was very enthusiastic at this point, and he was going, Michael, 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 the whole time. And he kept going, it's the performance of a lifetime. And Doug's mum was like, I don't think it is.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Anyway,
Ah,
I
yes.
am conscious that we have very little left of the episode, and there are
Yeah.
two things that I wanted to read out. We've had loads of
Oh,
lovely emails.
yes, but even before we get there, let's first of all, before we get onto the emails,
Oh,
which are
talk about
amazing.
the thing we were supposed to talk about at the very beginning,
Yes.
52 minutes later.
Yeah, we need to remind you all that we are holding an event the night before the Bath Half, and we have it on good authority that the Bath Half is now sold out. So this is for people who've already got a space at the Bath Half, or are
Yes.
just or live in Bath, or whatever. But on at 6 o'clock, the evening before the Bath Half, for 1 hour. So we go there and then go off and have some pasta or whatever it is that you want to do,
Mhm.
go off and carb load afterwards. We are holding an event to talk through race nerves, race prep, race pasta, fun
Yeah.
times. It's a
How
bit of
to
a
have
live pod.
a lovely race day was what we sort of wanted to talk about.
Mm.
I feel like we kind of decided this before I decided that I would try and do a sub 2 hour half marathon. So
Yeah.
I don't feel that I'm going to be practicing what I'm preaching here. But as people who have, maybe not in recent times, but in general in our history of running, had
Mm.
quite a lot of lovely race days that we've really enjoyed,
Yeah.
that's what we sort of wanted to share a little bit of wisdom, if you will,
Mhm.
on. And yeah, but all the things that Esther is saying as well, we're going to be talking about all the elements that contribute to a good race day, which very much does include pasta and
It does indeed.
potentially silly laughs the night before.
I think silly laughs the night before, and
Yeah.
tickets are only a tenner, and we're holding it in, I can't even remember what it's called. Is it like Widcombe Social Club?
Wickham Social Club, I know it well because it used to be where my choir was held.
There we go. It's going to be Widcombe Social Club, which, for those of you that don't live in Bath, is very, very close to the route itself. So it's very central, and there is a bar, and it will be fun. And we will have a glass of wine, even though we probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
But when do we ever listen to advice? I mean,
I
this
was just
whole
about to
episode.
say that like a glass of wine slash a pint and a half. A pint and a half can really contribute to a lovely race day for me. That may not be the case for everyone. And who knows, if I'm doing a sub 2, I probably
Mhm.
shouldn't play with fire on that front. But sometimes I just feel like it's extra carbs without the repercussions of a
Yeah.
hangover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I think, like, even if you're going for, a big PB goal like you are, like, there are still be things that we're going to be talking about that I think can be helpful on the day. And a lot of that, because you've done all of the work by that stage, there's nothing you can do
Even if you
running
haven't done any
wise.
of the work, there's
Yeah,
nothing you can
there's
do.
nothing you can do, but there's quite a lot that you can draw on mentally on the day that can really, really help when you're having to dig deep, I think.
Big
And
time.
that can be before you start, like in the pen, which is usually a time when I am at heightened anxiety. So I know that we've got lots of information about how to kind of cope with that, and also the things that we do to get through the painful bits when you just don't think you've got it in you, but you do. So
Yeah.
we'll be talking about stuff like that. Um, anyway, do please
Oh, I
come.
can't wait. That's making me emotional even just thinking about. It's gonna
I
be
know.
such a nice evening. And yeah, I do thank you to so many of you who have already booked to come.
Mm,
Assuming that lots of you have booked Bath half places. Maybe we're the reason that it's sold out. So I'm very sorry to anybody who was interested in also doing the Bath half. But I also want to say that yeah, there is no, as we said before, like you, even if you're not running it or you now can't get a place, like please
mm,
do still come and say hi, because I think more than anything, yeah, you'll get to hear us gas for a bit, but it's such a nice opportunity to meet other women who are like you. And I know
yeah,
that's a thing that we all crave in this
yeah,
community, because
absolutely. Yeah.
there really are not very many people in my life apart from Esther sitting across this laptop from me, and you lot that I can talk to about running for ages and ages. Everybody
Yeah.
else I can tell is really just trying to think of a way to get away from me when I talk to them.
Yes. Yeah, I just bore the pants off everybody else in my life. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's true. It's such a good opportunity to come and chat. Not to us, although absolutely we would love to chat to you, but everyone else that's going. It's all a group of women who are all mostly going to be running that half,
yeah,
but definitely enjoy running to some extent. And lots of people, I think, coming on their own. So it's a perfect opportunity to just mingle with people, and then you can find them the following day, in
definitely.
your race pen or like in the race village somewhere. And
Yeah.
that means you have a little buddy, and
Oh, that's gonna be so nice.
it's gonna be
I'm
great.
honestly, I'm buzzing. I'm thinking of it slightly like, I know we're not all necessarily gonna be staying in the same hotel or whatever like we were before, but
Mm.
I'm thinking of it a little bit like our Paris trip, where it's like
Ah,
the camaraderie of
yeah.
having a silly, lovely time the night before and then doing a race together the next morning. And then if we can swing it, thinking that there's going to be quite a lot of us, but we'll figure it out. If we
Mm.
can get some like wine and chips or whatever it is afterwards, pint of Coke, whatever is
Yeah,
really
pint of
calling to
Coke.
us, that did
Yeah,
something for both of us then.
yeah,
Then I think, yeah, that feeling of going through that experience together bonds you
yeah.
for life. So
Oh my
cannot
god,
wait
yes.
to all be bonded to another big group of gals.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. Right, okay, that was my big plug. Um,
Okay.
and I'll put the link in the show notes to get tickets. They're just on Eventbrite, and it's 10 quid. So yeah, super easy. And there's just the last few remaining, which is why I needed to plug it. Right, Hol, you had a couple of emails that we had
I
to
had
listen
two
to.
things, and normally I'm such a sensible person and I star all of the
Ah.
ones that I wanted to talk about, but I haven't, which
Ah,
is
dear.
excellent news. So you might have to bear with me doing one annoying thing while I just search.
Okay, you do that, and I will just remind everyone that the spine race is currently ongoing. Bloody hell. I must admit, at the beginning of the week, when temperatures were dipping, it was like, what are you guys doing out there? Like up
Wild.
there, up north, running up the spine for 268 miles. But anyway, fun times. And that's worth a good old look on. Well, I mainly follow it, I think, through Innovate.
Who are
Um,
you following? I think you're right. I think Innovate do the most.
mm,
Do they sponsor it? It
Yeah,
is the,
I think they
yeah.
do. But I was looking, well, I was following people that were doing shorter, because I think there's 7 or 8 different races
Mhm.
on the spine. Um, and so obviously I was following Damien Hall because he's ex of this parish, who did amazingly well, as he always does.
Mhm.
And Ali Bailey is also
Former cover
currently
star.
currently freezing her tits off, former cover star. Yeah. No, I actually think currently probably warming her tits up. I think she must have finished by now, so I've kind of missed it overnight. But
Warming
yeah,
her
so
tits
sorry, Ali. But yeah, so yeah, go and have a look at that if you want a bit of inspiration and to feel quite snug and warm
Yeah, I'm
while
actually,
watching.
that is one thing that has just made me feel positive for the first time today about the fact that I'm not going to run today.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm going to be warm as hell, so sucks to be you guys. Okay, right. In the meantime, I have
Yes.
found I've got a serious, sensible email, which is
Right.
from a lovely listener called Philippa,
Mhm.
who actually wrote in about something that we talked about quite a while ago, but I
Mhm.
thought was worth reading out because it's just very sensible, good advice. So she was currently catching up on episodes, and that's why it's a little bit late. So
Mhm.
it's 276 that she's talking about. She refers to it as the one with a scatological start.
Ah.
She said, I know you were both surprised at the age at which the bowel cancer screening kit comes through your door and wanted to try and help you out. And maybe a listener or two. I've actually never had to poo in a pot, so you're on your own working that one out.
Thanks. Is that the end of the email?
She said, although the screening kit doesn't arrive until you're 50, bowel cancer is starting to affect younger people at an alarming rate. I was diagnosed at age 40 after seeing some blood in my poo. Earlier this year, at the age of 42, a scan showed the cancer had spread to my lungs, making me stage 4 and giving everyone a good laugh at how how I now officially talk shit since I have bowel cancer in my lungs.
Oh god.
Awful, but that's hilarious.
Mm.
Anyway, the point is that if I had had a screening test, it likely would have been picked up before getting to that point. A
Mm.
stage 1 diagnosis is a lot easier to treat. So please do your screening test if you receive one. And if you're too young, look out for the following: blood in your poo,
Mhm.
obvious change in your bowel habit, weight loss you can't explain, extreme tiredness for no reason, lump or swelling in your abdomen. And please, if you get any of these symptoms, do not be fobbed off with the "you're too young for bowel cancer," because these days no one is. Philippa is currently recovering from lung surgery to cut the cancer out, and she is finally loving having time to catch up on missed pods.
Oh.
So love you very much, Philippa. All the
Thanks,
best.
Philippa.
And thank you so, so much, because I do think that that is potentially life-saving advice for people.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, and then I do have I thought I would end on a slightly sillier note. We had a lovely long episode. Love how my emails are doing this at the moment. Hide all the ones that I've been interested in reading from me. Don't let me see them. Perfect. Thank you. Uh, this is from lovely Nikki, and it's actually a longer email. And thank you so much to her for sending this in. I might pick some bits of this out and do it in other episodes as well,
Mm.
because there's so much here that's great. But she had a little poo story, which I thought fed on nicely from talking about the sensible things that we should be looking at about our poo and
Yes.
making us have a bit of a laugh about it all.
Ah, okay.
So Nikki said, finally, a little poo story for you. I also hope she doesn't mind that I've just named her. I don't think, yeah. Sorry about that, Nikki. Thank you. She doesn't ask to be kept anonymous, but very grateful to her for this story. Finally, a little poo story for you. Are you sitting comfortably? I was training for the Swansea half a number of years ago and was actually staying in the Mumbles close by.
Mhm.
Gorgeous neck of the woods.
Lovely.
And using the route for my long run. It was a Sunday 10 miler to do, and with 3 miles left to go and heading back to base, I needed to fart. Did
Ah.
so, and then, horror, could feel this warm sensation in my bum area.
Oh dear.
Touching tentatively behind me, I could feel a squidgy bulk
Oh.
and thought, oh my God, I've pooed myself. No toilets or cafes available as it was relatively early, and all I could do was take my top off and try and wrap it around my waist to disguise the patch. Now, all I have on top is a running bra, much to the appreciation of many men fishing off Mumbles Pier. I rushed inside, screaming at my hubby to leave me be, and sat on the loo to find absolutely nothing other than what could have only been a weird trapped bubble of wind.
Oh.
So, what I want to know by the end of that poo story, and what she may have to let us know,
Yeah.
did she poo herself?
Or not?
Or what was the squishy bulk?
squishy bulk was just wind. How do you have knickers that create such a balloon effect if it's just
I know.
wind?
That's like one of those icks of men going into a swimming pool and their trunks blowing up. It was
Yeah.
maybe something of that effect that happened.
How bizarre.
Anyway, who knows? We need clarification on whether a poo actually occurred. But I loved the reference to squishy bulk. That made me laugh enough that I
Good.
thought we need to discuss
We
this
need
story.
that.
And I related to squishy bulk because that is exactly what I felt when I pooed myself on Cheltenham High Street.
Cheltenham High
Little
Street.
fart, warm feeling, squishy bulk. Awful, awful combo.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
nice.
nobody wants that. Anyway, thank you for emailing in. If you have any other stories, then as always, wrpodcast@anthem.co.uk. Anthem is the name of our publisher. Sometimes I think, do people know what that is,
Yeah.
what that means? So write in, let us know if you've got any other tales of the mysterious or
Yes, absolutely. I
nasty or
I find
whatever.
that with our publishing company that I do find myself occasionally when I talk about it, I give everyone a backstory.
Yeah,
Like
so do
it's
I.
not called for,
Yeah.
but I launched it. Well, the reason why it's called Anthem is, you know,
Do you also go
the,
anthem like the national anthem?
I do not do that.
I often say that when
Do
I'm on the
you?
phone or something.
No, I give them a good couple of paragraphs of backstory, which
Do you
end
know it
in,
was
and
founded in
that's why it's called Anthem. No one
Well,
from a,
maybe one
you know.
day we'll tell you all the backstory.
Yeah, we'll tell you the backstory. But I don't think anyone from Bauer or Hurst is saying, 2 paragraphs, and that's why it's called Hurst. Like,
I know. I
but
know.
then maybe those people from Hurst and Bauer have got proper email addresses that just say email at
They
thisrunningmagazine.com or
probably
something.
do.
Yeah.
Having been CC'd accidentally, but where it's not, they failed to be CC.
Yeah.
When you get a press release that is intended for a load of journalists or whatever,
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that the ones from the running, what's it called? Runner's World.
God, it's such a small publication, isn't it? That it's quite easy to forget.
Not one I think about at all regularly. But Runner's World, they are definitely the name of the writer or whatever at Runner's World. So
Yeah.
maybe it is weird and we all need to grow up and get with
Yeah,
the times. But we still bear the colours proudly of our independent little publisher.
we
And
do.
do you find, sorry, another thing I was just thinking, tiny little weird publishing thing, does it make you laugh when people say like at Runners World HQ or here at Hurst Towers or something? And
Yes.
I sometimes am tempted to write stuff like that. And then I think, how hilarious would it be for our audience to see? I can't in good faith call it that. I can't say women's running HQ or women's running
No.
towers because it's our shared hot desking, one floor office space in Wickham. Those of you coming to the event will see the
Yeah.
windows
Yeah.
with, about 6 desk spaces and where like we have a team of about 6 people to our
Yeah.
magazine's name.
It's not a tower, is it?
It's
It's,
certainly not a tower. Should we start
yeah,
calling it the women's running
hot desk.
Hamlet
Hamlet.
or something? The women's running bungalow. Oh god.
Uh, yes, probably is, isn't it? Although, I mean, more often than not, it's the women's running kind of remote tower, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
it's just our, it's Felix's bedroom. Women's running's felix'sbedroom.com.
Yes. And women's running my living room in a small village outside of Bath. God, it's glam.
Isn't
God,
it?
it is
Isn't
so
it?
glam. If you watched Rivals, then yep,
Mm.
that's what it's like.
I know.
David Tennant shouting at us all the time and
It's
making a
precisely
hell
like
of a
that.
lot of money.
Oh, yes. Publishing is definitely the career to follow if you want to
Yeah,
be insanely wealthy. Yeah.
yeah, it really is. Anyway,
On that note.
on that note, shall we call this episode the most depressing episode ever?
Oh, let's.
Though I think actually it's been salvaged by the readers. The
Yeah, it has.
readers? Sorry, I'm the
Christ,
readers
you.
at Women's Running HQ. By our listeners because we had some lovely emails,
We
some
have.
thoughtful emails, and I think, yeah, as always, you guys have saved the day.
Indeed, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think we'll lift you all up by next episode because I think we've got a very special treat for you next
Oh my
episode.
God, we have. Oh God, I'm
Oh,
nervous about the very special treat, but
I'm
you guys don't
really
need to
nervous
be.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
We've got a
Anyway,
lovely guest.
yes, we do.
Mhm.
Yes, a very lovely guest. Do please come along to the event if you can. Uh, before the bath half. Before then, come and see us at the NRS because we will be there on
We
the
will.
31st and 1st. And we would love to see your faces.
We would.
Yeah,
We would
we would.
indeed. And
Absolutely would.
I'm really looking forward to stuffing my face because there are always so many sweet treats.
Ah, flapjackery.
I know.
Here we come.
Here
Yeah.
we come. I can't wait. Anyway, love to all. Signing
And to
off.
all a good
And to all a
night.
good night, as Michael Caine
Did he
would
say that? Or
say.
was it Gonzo? Yeah, I
I
don't
think
know.